Okay, welcome to another episode of Start, Grow, Monetise Your Podcast with me, Alex Chisnell. My co-host James is not here today, but I have a very special guest. I've got Martin Hewlett, former full-time paramedic, who's given up his job after turning his hobby into his full-time gig. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, thanks, Alex. Well, it's good to see you again.
Indeed, last time was in Poole in the studio. This time, tell us where you are.
Well, I'm sat in a camper van, my full-time home. I've given up practically all my worldly goods and travel around the UK and record my podcast and live off my podcast as I'm mobile. I'm a digital nomad.
I love it. Amazing. And whereabouts in the world are you now then? Where are you basically traveling around? What area?
I'm up in North Devon, currently in Bideford. I'm actually grounded at the moment. The side door fell off the van a few days ago. So I'm just waiting for some parts to turn up, do a repair, luckily at a friend's driveway, so there's no hassle. And then off to the Midlands at the weekend.
Fantastic. And look, to give our listeners and viewers an idea of where you've taken your show from and basically what is possible, when did you launch and how many downloads did you get in week one, if you can remember?
I launched November the 22nd, 2019. I did it on a whim. I was doing, I had a YouTube channel. I was uploading some meditations because although I was still a paramedic, I just qualified as a clinical hypnotherapist. And I thought it'd be a good way of giving something to my clients for free. Then I listened to Smart Passive Income by Pat Flynn, and that changed my world. I just thought audio podcast, brilliant. I remember the first day after I'd launched my show and I'd monetized, I'd click that little button for money. And I walked onto the ambulance station and I looked at the stats and I'd made 7 cents. And I was so chuffed. And all my colleagues naturally took the mick out of me. But then fast forward a year, maybe 2 years after that, and I was earning more in ad revenue from the show a month than I was from my salary as a paramedic.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was the moment, eh?
Yeah. I would be sat in the ambulance looking at the stats going, oh, I've just earned 100 quid. Oh, I've just earned, it was brilliant. Those were the halcyon days. But I picked the right niche at the right time. And then obviously the beginning of 2020, COVID hit, and I've got a mindfulness and meditation podcast. I mean, the graph just went vertical. It was beautiful.
Pure like hockey stick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when we're chatting now in January 2025, how many downloads roughly have you?
I'm just coming up to about 10 million. I'm coming up to 10 million in just over 5 years. It has slowed down, but it's at about 100,000 downloads a month.
Phenomenal.
You know, I'm still very happy with it.
And tell us a little bit about the podcast. I'm obviously a big fan. I listen to it most days. I was just telling you offline, I'd missed a few to start the year. I didn't really start the year till like the 6th of January. So I did like 3, I think, on Saturday. And you've, as people will hear listening to this, and no surprise doing what you do, but you have a very, very hypnotic voice.
Yeah, well, sorry, I'm just blown away by that compliment. What was the question again? Sorry.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the podcast. Like, what's the purpose behind it? Yeah. You mentioned.
It organically evolved, and it is now a daily 10-minute guided meditation. So there's an introduction into connecting with your breathing, which is the crux of being relaxed. And then it goes into an affirmation. All of them are different. None of them are scripted. Everyone says, oh, how do you write them out? I don't. I come up with the affirmation, those that I work on, but I've got a back catalogue of over 2,000 now. So I kind of got that going. And all I have on screen is the affirmation. I press record, I close my eyes, and generally do it in one take. And what you listen to is my meditation. You're joining in with me, taking back control of my life. And I'm so passionate about the power of it because I used to be a really angry, reactionary person. And everyone who's known me through my life, who knows what I refer to as the old me and now sees me, is like, how on earth did I do it? And I believe if we set aside just a minimum of 10 minutes of mindfulness a day to nurture us, we can accomplish anything. I'm too laid back now. You know, the door fell off and I chuckled. Last November, I'm over in Sussex. I go to lock the van and the key snaps, leaving part of it in. And the old me would have been frustrated and angry. And I'm like, I'll sort it out. There'll be a solution. There always is. So yeah, it's got a great tribe. There's about 100,000 subscribers, mainly Spotify, but then YouTube and Apple. So it's
Wow, 100,000 following. Yeah, that's amazing. It's a hell of a community. And you were saying before that, you know, not only do you get, you know, a lot of comments on YouTube channel, because the engagement's, you know, amazing, isn't it? I know what it's like as a podcaster to get an email or to get a really nice review, but you've had phone calls, you've had emails, you've had direct messages, you've had comments, you've had reviews, you've had all of that engagement.
It's absolutely, it's so heartwarming. The emails about people saying how they found it at the worst time of their life and it's completely changed how they think, feel and react. And I can't see me stopping ever. This will be a bit of a legacy until the day I no longer exist on this planet. I love it. I really do love it.
Well, it's great to hear for anyone thinking of starting a podcast, because again, you know, I always say my podcast, without being cheesy, changed my life. And it's you know, for me, it's been the people that I met, the conversations that I've had and the opportunities that have come off the back of that, you know, and those emails and that letters that you get of helping someone to go from, you know, where they were to where they wanted to be, you know, in that journey. And I think I was listening the other day, it might have been Rangan Chatterjee's podcast, but he was saying, you know, if you cannot find 10 minutes in your life, then you need to have a good, long, hard look at your life. You can't have 10 minutes yourself.
I used to, you know, discuss with my crewmates. I have a very healthy diet. I focus on what I eat and I cook and prep. And I'd be sitting in the crew room or in a truck and I'd get out my Tupperware containers and they'd go, where do you find the time? I said, well, what do you do in the evening? What did you watch on telly last night? And they'd tell me, I'd go, well, whilst you're watching telly, I'm prepping food. All right. And it's organic and it's fresh. And I know what nurtures me. I never used to be like this. You know, I was a fast food chocolate addict all my life. I then became a type 2 diabetic and I went keto and now I'm 100% carnivore and I totally reversed it. I lost weight. I'm on no meds and it is about prioritizing me. And that's not selfish. But, you know, having this lifestyle here, I read. You know, sometimes I'll be in the middle of the Brecon Beacons and I'll just spend a whole day either bathing in that very cold stream or reading. So, you know, it's a balance. But yeah, I've taken a lot of time to get here. But then every day I record a show.
And again, like everybody else then, I just assumed that they were scripted because they literally were perfect. But you're essentially doing that live then. You're literally doing like a live show.
On my YouTube channel, up until about a year ago, I did them to camera as my face, talking like I am now, all in one take. And people were amazed, but I only did that for one reason. It cut down on editing.
Yeah.
Right. I don't edit my audio. I record into Ableton, one take. I just listen in two key places to make sure I have recorded the voice and I've mastered the voice on the backing track, and then it's uploaded. With the YouTube video, I would do that to camera, into DaVinci, do a transcript and then upload. And if I had to edit the video, it would take me forever.
Yeah.
That said, now I just upload to YouTube from Spreaker, my podcast host, because it wasn't getting any engagement and it was taking another 30 minutes a day of my time.
And how much of your podcast? I mean, I'm guessing now, I might be wrong, but I know what it's like with my own show, and we're nowhere near as many as we're coming up to 600 episodes, and get more downloads from the back catalogue than you do for a new episode coming out, and you've got 2,000 of those sat there working away for you.
Yeah, it's a wonderful catalogue of work, and it's really inspiring that, you know, new people listen and I say, look, do subscribe, maybe explore the catalogue of over 2,000 shows, which gives a bit of gravitas to what I've produced.
Yeah.
But my very first podcast, called Calming Anxiety, is still my biggest download even today.
Is it?
Out, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And maybe I could niche down on that, but then I wouldn't be producing what I want to produce, which is, well, I'm just not chasing those numbers, really. I will be with my new venture, which is still mindful, but it's more about how I live a mindful existence.
Okay. And how will you incorporate that into what you have at the moment?
They're both connected. So on each of the YouTube shows, which is a bi-weekly upload, I do tag Calming Anxiety, because the people are following me. They're not following me because they want that, and I will do it, van life existence. They do it because they're more interested in how to be calm and mindful, like I am, about everything. And then I say, you know, if you want to learn more, go and check out Calming Anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't actually push my YouTube ban channel on Calming Anxiety then.
Okay. And how much do you think you spend promoting the show, or do you put it out there and let YouTube do its thing and let Spreaker do its thing?
I don't anymore. I didn't. No, even when I started, and it had its meteoric rise, and I had a fair few American management people wanting to work with me, and they go, "Well, how have you got that big? You know, what have you done?" So I've done nothing. I paid attention to the 20 tags that I could have in the show, and I would research the largest demographic for my show and what was affecting them on a mental health scale. So Calming Anxiety, 70% of my audience are women aged 20 to 36. And most of them in the States. So I would just Google and research what mental health crisis are affecting those, and then work those tags into the show to try and get more reach. But now I don't. I just let it find itself. I ask people to share it on their social media if they found a benefit from it. And that is the greatest influence that I have over. It's still slow, a lot slower, but still continued growth.
Do you ever, I mean, that like ideal listener or typical listener that you have there, do you give that much thought and think, why is that demographic reaching out? What is happening in their lives to make them crave, you know, this mindfulness?
No, I think the most important lesson I learned was from an email from a listener. And she, although gender didn't matter to it, so they had tried 10 other Spotify podcasts, and we're all so individual. So we all like our own music genre or dance genre. And she listened to all them, skip. And then she found me. And she said, the moment I opened my voice and said, hello, welcome to Calming Anxiety, my voice resonated with her. Because unlike, say, the app Calm, where you've got professional voiceover artists doing it, I'm not. I'm doing it because I'm passionate about helping others. That's why I was a paramedic. And I will say it, this is my lived experience. You know, 2 years ago, I had the most horrendous mental breakdown, even whilst I was doing this. And I remember I was recording my shows whilst going through this, which was really hard because I felt a bit of a fraud and a charlatan, but it really helped me get over it. So people will find me and might not like me. I've had some really offensive sort of comments on YouTube. One page, some said about my voice, they'd rather hear a meat grinder working. I'm like, and I copy and paste those and then use them on my social media accounts. Going,
Material. Huh.
yeah, but yes, when I'm doing the podcast, I'm on that timbre and resonance that I feel, and I know other people feel because they write and tell me. And I do, yes, today I actually had a phone call from this marketing guy in Canada who wants to work with me. Now, I was about to go with him last year, but the contract was stipulating 5% of everything I earned for life. And I'm like, don't know about that. Maybe that's industry standard, but I think that's a bit cheeky. If I found someone that was prepared to take this on as a percentage, great. But at the moment, I have no budget. I actually live on a budget of under £1,000 a month for my entire life, for this van, moving, everything. But I do believe when I'm in a better position, I will invest, because not that I'm like so many creators think I've got something great. The data shows I've got something uniquely powerful. And if I can get it in front of the right person who can get it in front of a much, much larger audience, then I think I will be able to create even more helpful content and just empower thousands more people around the world to live their best lives, full of a better way of thinking, feeling, and reacting, as I say.
And
I get all the
do you have to get yourself in a certain frame of mind to record in like the timbre of your voice, etc., or you're obviously pretty chilled out
no, I am so relaxed now. When I started, and this is another reason I am so passionate about what I do. So I've always struggled with my personality issue at work in social situations, and what people refer to as social Tourette's. So I could never stop saying stupid things that, I've got myself in trouble. And when I started recording these shows, a 10-minute show would take me an hour, because I'd have to stop because I'd let those intrusive thoughts into the mic. So I'd delete that. But now I could record maybe 10 shows in one day, back to back, and not be distracted. And also, like right now, talking to you, my right-sided tinnitus is off the scale. But when I record, it stops.
No way.
It's like, it really amazes me every time. It's just like, I get so into it that any outside distraction. So 10 minutes a day, you can change your life. And so for those who may want to find out, I have dissociative identity disorder, all to do with kiddie trauma. And it's really affected me very negatively through my life. But the last 5 years, I've made it go from a 10 out of 10 to a 0.5, and totally taken back control over who I am. And I've become the person I've always wanted to be. No longer the bane of my own life, and that friend that you think, I'd like to invite them, but oh my God, he's going to embarrass everyone. That was me.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's phenomenal for people to listen to this and be inspired to do whatever they want to do. What's is there an ultimate goal, or you?
No. This is my life at the moment. I want for nothing. I gave up my home, practically all my material stuff. My 2 motorbikes are in storage there. You can't pull it up.
Bikes, yeah.
Oh, I love it. And there's a core element in me that just wants to help other people. I don't know why. It's just who I am. I love it. I loved being a paramedic. I didn't do a day's work in over 20 years because it was the best paid hobby in the world. And now I do this. I still laugh, and my 2 sons take the mick that their dad is now an influencer. But what a way to live. I help others, I empower others, and in return, I'm just chilled. I wake up to the most beautiful scenery. I go wild swimming like you do.
Mm.
I record my show and just live basically a life of Zen. It's wonderful.
And
Would be nice to make more money.
do you want to travel like around Europe in the van as well?
Yeah, next year. Well,
Okay.
I think I need to upgrade this van. So she's a 22-year-old Mercedes Sprinter. Last year, the exhaust fell off on the M5. That was fun. So, it would be better to upgrade. But that's what I'm hoping with the YouTube channel. Not to be massive, but just enough to stay on top of bills.
And when it comes to clearly you've monetized your podcast. Your podcast gives you the lifestyle that you've got. What's so you've explored like ad revenue. If you get approached by like potential sponsors like I've done?
I've had a few, but again, my own morality gets in the way. So I've only done one with a CBD oil from the States. I'm in talks with another one at the moment, which is a really good brain waker upper thing in the morning. I'll keep quiet on the name on that one.
Yeah.
So they're interested in sponsoring. And then my YouTube channel, not even monetized, I've already had the obligatory eco sort of lithium-ion battery ones write to me, which is not bad since I'm still just under 900 subscribers. But I'll be more engaged with monetizing that. But to monetize calming anxiety, it's got to fall in line with my core values and beliefs. Although an old business mentor did say, but look, banks are looking at your demographic, women age 22.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be ideal. So I am open to it. And I know I'm very green when it comes to business. So actually, Alex, should anyone approach you, I will probably jump on a phone call with you for your advice.
Yeah. Didn't you also do some like events?
Yeah. Well, yeah. This time last year, I mean, it seems a lifetime away. I was on stage at Google New York.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember reading about it.
Yeah. To talk about my journey in mindfulness and empowering the younger generation. So it was on behalf of Digital for Good. I can help. Hashtag I can help. And they're all about online safety for young kids at school and college. So I went out there. That was wonderful. And then later last year, May, I went out to Poland to do a men's sort of positivity mindful camp. And that was wonderful. I hypnotized a group of 30 plus guys, one to empower themselves, but also they were all martial artists. And I asked if any of them had pain, and some of them, I got rid of their pain completely. As a brief session, that was really empowering.
Not bad.
Yeah, I do corporate events because it's so wonderful to get a group in, and it uplifts because in a group you have that sort of crowd enabler where people don't want to miss out. So it doubles the effect of hypnosis. It's wonderful.
Interesting. And what advice would you give somebody who literally wants to start, grow, and monetize their podcast? Give us some steps on.
Well, interesting. I have an online course for that. As we do. Yeah, no. So I did a course with, this woman, Sheila Granger, who was the Small Business Person of the Year award winner. And she's a hypnotherapist, and we collaborated to do an online course on starting your podcast. But it really is simple. Obviously, I'm going to say Spreaker. So Spreaker are like the third largest host, and they're run by iHeartRadio. They're an app. They've got their own app. You can record, you can do backing music. They've got loads of freebies all on the app on your phone. How simple can that be?
Yeah.
I mean, I get emails 10, 20 a day, people wanting to come on. So just one word of warning. they've not listened to your podcast. I know they've not listened to mine because they say, love your content. We think so-and-so will be a great fit. I don't interview people. I mean, I do, every now and then I do. If someone writes to me and they've got a really good story of like positive change, chaos to calm, I will interview them. But I don't interview people who just want to sell their book. So that's not what I'm about. But yeah, if you want to start a podcast, let's be blunt. The only thing stopping you doing it is you, right? You will always worry that no one's going to listen, but someone will. As long as within Spreaker, I know for certain you've got show tags. You nail those and someone will find your show. I have like 1,200 friends on Facebook. A lot of them are powerlifting associates or martial arts associates or hypnotherapy associates. So when I launched my last YouTube channel, I asked all of them, I did #highlight, right? You need that initial engagement for any algorithm to go, oh, this is interesting, and push it in front of more people. So I think the main thing is don't be shy. Tell people, because it's just advertising.
Agreed.
Unless you shout about it, who's going to know?
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah.
What would you do differently if you could do anything differently? If you go back to 2019, Martin?
When the money was at its peak, I would have invested all of that into finding a manager to get me more people, to also diversify and go down the interview side and the podcast that I now run. I had started that, but then I niched down into what I do because I think that was the safest route. But now knowing where I am now, yeah, I would have used that money slightly better. But I have no regrets. That word doesn't figure in my life. I'm here right now. I'm happy. I'm content. I can't change the past. But if someone else is saying, what should they do? Get help when you can, really. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs find that the hardest thing, maybe.
Yeah, agree. Yeah. And as always, if people want to listen to your podcast, it's available wherever you get your podcasts. And if people want to follow your journey in your van, what's the name of that channel?
So this is cracking. And the whole channel just started as a joke. A friend said, oh, you need an OnlyFans site. And I went, more like OnlyVans. Onto Google, onto domain names. What have we got for OnlyVans? And there was onlyvans.guru for £1.99. By that, went onto YouTube, typed in #OnlyVansGuru. No one had it. YouTube channel sorted. Went into Grok on X, asked it, I just gave it a script to create a thumbnail, and that is the artwork I now have. It was so good, first off. So that's my YouTube logo. So my site is at OnlyVansGuru. Right? And it's a mindful take on positivity. There's no clickbait. There's none of that 5 things I hate about living in a van. And as I said in one of my last shows, I go, imagine if homeowners had a YouTube channel like Van Life. It'd be why I hate living in my house. And that's not the case, is it? I don't look at the negative in anything anymore. Bad things do happen, but then I've seen a lot of that as a paramedic. And I think that formulated who I am. I just look at the positives. Otherwise, you're just going to be whining and negative. Yeah, come along. The more the merrier. If I can get to 1,000 and, go through the back catalogue on OnlyFans as well. Because that'll get my watch hours up. And tell your friends about it.
And why wouldn't you?
But as a business podcast, Alex, if you do know anyone or anyone's watching this and knows someone else who thinks, listen to his content and then actually I've got an idea, just email me. Okay. I'm open to ideas because I think more than 3,000 people a day would benefit from what I have to give. And you're a testament to that as well. So thank you.
And no problem at all. As I say, huge fan. And what would that email be?
Yeah, let me think. Right, on this one, we'll just do it the easiest. marthewlett@gmail.com. That's MartHewlett.
Perfect. Well, look, thank you so much for scoping out a good half hour or so to come on the podcast. Love sharing your message. Love listening to the podcast as well. Incredibly inspiring, your journey, and I'm sure this is only going to inspire more people to start the podcast. So thank you so much.
I hope they do. Thanks, Alex. Take care, buddy.